Hello.
Hello.
It always gets me when it's that recording button. You have to click that off before you do anything. And it's always hidden down in the corner. Oh,
Stephen, you were the smiley face iPad. Oh, he's still silent. Hi, Anna.
Hi.
There we go. Now you can hear me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Great.
So, Stephen, are you at the Nantucket now?
No, we're in Hyannis.
Oh,
We're
that's right. Going back the other way.
catching a 9 o'clock ferry tomorrow to Nantucket.
How fun.
Excellent.
Tell you, it's hot here.
It's hot here.
How
Well,
hot?
We have trees there.
Oh,
How hot? I think it's in the low 90s here.
A breeze just started. It's been nice. We're at 83. Or 87. But there's a big cloud, a big storm cloud overhead with the breeze blowing. Jeff's here.
Jeff's here.
Yep.
Oh, here he comes. Great. Jeff, you're muted.
is Steve Sullivan coming?
I hope so. I'm texting him right now. I saw him earlier.
Yeah.
Well, if it's okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order at 5:31.
Mhm.
And everybody had a chance to review the minutes from 5:1 and 6:12. I made a few changes and additions. Anybody else have anything? Do I hear a motion to accept the minutes from 5:1, May 1st?
I make a motion to accept them.
I
Second,
Second.
all in favor? Cook,
Aye.
Ian,
Aye.
Quackenbush,
Yeah,
Dallas, aye. Thank you. And do I hear a motion to accept the minutes from June 12th?
yeah, I'll do with that.
Okay,
Second.
and all in favor? Cook,
Aye.
Ian,
Aye.
Quackenbush,
Aye.
Dallas, aye. Thank you. Okay, Becky, any progress on finding out about the asbestos?
Not the asbestos. Ah, I'll find a way to get it done tomorrow. Sorry.
Let's assume it comes back negative. Do we then what is our next step? Do we have to touch base with Concom or?
Yeah. Well, I have a meeting scheduled with the Concom chair for Monday. Well, I can reach out to her tomorrow. I can start to line that up to see what their response will be, what they want us to do.
Could you explain why Concom gets involved in a roof at a dam?
Just because If
So
they
it-
want to put up anything to protect from the crap falling off the roof into the water.
The 100-foot buffer around the lake is what they're involved in. So anything within 100 foot.
So we have to drain it. Okay.
We would have done it last year if that was the solution, I think. But it's not funny.
No.
Okay, moving on, update on the corner board repairs at West Schoolhouse number 2. I purchased the board, Russ Wilson and I, with Russ being the lead, planed it, milled it, cut it, fit it, pre-primed everything before we put the corner together. And then after it was installed, I added 2 more coats of primer. I reattached the copper lightning arrestor thingy. You know, it's not a cable, it's a kind of a woven flat piece, but it's quite worn. You know, it's probably lost 50% of its physicalness where it comes off of the roof. And it's not connected to anything in the ground. There's no ground rod there. Or so I just kind of pushed it, the bottom piece back into the cavity between the corner pieces of the foundation stone. And, you know, we could discuss whether or not it's important to have that ground functional. With all the trees there, the tall trees, I think the likelihood of that building getting struck is very slim. I think Jeff said the other day, there might be more of a concern about a tree blowing over in the wind and hitting the building. Anybody have any thoughts about that?
They're easily put in, so just had jackhammer the thing in. But does the copper go all the way down to the ground?
Yeah, there's enough extra that you could certainly attach it to a ground rod.
That's an easy thing to do. It was probably there once and got rusted out or something. So
So then are you recommending we stick a ground rod in?
yes,
Okay, and how
I
deep
can
does it have to go?
4 feet.
I don't
Yeah, I
have
think.
any, I
Yeah,
have no idea.
I think it was
Anna,
4
have you
feet.
done this before? No. Okay,
I know if someone has a jackhammer, it's easy to do once you get them. If you don't hit rock.
Which you're gonna hit in Shutesbury.
Wait, yes. I'll look up the code and get back to us.
Okay. Okay, moving on. Update on cleaning of drains at the school and town hall. I guess we'd have to wait for Steve to talk about that. I did see the vacuum truck at the corner of West Pelham Hill and Leverett Road the other day.
And I saw it at the highway department too. So
I asked Steve about that this morning. He said he checked the courtyard with Kevin, the custodian, a couple weeks ago, and after the rain, and they had checked and they said all the drains were working fine. That was Steven's report, but he hasn't, did he give that at the last meeting? I think we reported for him at the last meeting.
Okay, because I do kind of remember somebody saying that they were clear.
And that's what Steve's contention from working with Kevin, that the drains in the courtyard going out are clear, or at the school. He went around with Kevin and they were checking things. So if we can get Steve here to answer your questions, that would be helpful.
But the drain behind the town hall is not clear, correct? Okay.
I
Jackie,
would
you're
think
muted.
it goes back to that $1,000 or $1,500 that Steve didn't have to buy the machine that was long enough,
Mhm.
a long enough distance to really do anything good. So we need to decide if you want to follow up on Jeff's idea, and Jeff said that then the building committee should buy it.
And Stephen, weren't you gonna look into that?
Which I haven't.
Okay. Sounds like a beach thing. Okay.
Yeah.
I just found the asbestos results and they're all negative.
Oh, great.
Interesting.
Non-detect, non-detect, and non-detect.
Okay, so then you'll interface with Concom to see if they want to write us an order of conditions, I guess.
Well, I'll get on their agenda and they're gonna want. Yeah.
Aren't
I'll
they,
have
aren't they,
to-
aren't they gonna
NOI.
know first aren't they gonna know what we want to do?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
okay,
gonna-
so what are we
that's
gonna
the-
do?
We're going to re-roof the dam hut on top of the dam.
Well,
And-
are we gonna tear off the existing room? Or are we
No.
going to just put a metal roof over the roof?
We're going over top.
That's what I
Okay.
thought. I thought we were just, that we wouldn't have to put up all those fancy things. We're just gonna put strapping,
Yeah,
metal roof, and a vent cap. We probably don't even need a vent cap because the strapping acts as that.
correct. Yeah, that's what we discussed and decided.
Right. Well, my point is, I think they'll be happier to hear that we're not ripping the old one off.
Right.
So
Yeah.
there's less to fall in the water.
And it might be that they might even, if I can find because there's a statute that says that minor repairs to the dam or repairs to the dam can be made without, without that the repairs can be exempt from the Concom approvals. So I'm gonna be asking them if they feel that the roof of the hut is exempt, and then I'll make sure to have the statute to back it up and have the conversation with them
Right.
and see.
And
if-
to tell,
And
we're
what?
not, and to tell them that we're not taking material off. We're just going right over top. So,
Right. Right. We're not digging
right.
and we're
Right.
not chopping trees, so it might be okay to move. So I will. Okay, I'll be in touch with Beth, and if I need to get on agenda, I'll get on the agenda to start the process if they want to process.
Okay, thank you.
Becky, going back to about the vacuum truck, at the last meeting, I'm looking at the minutes. Steve Sullivan told us that the vacuum truck was coming next week to check clean underground drains at the school. So maybe between then and now, because I had discussions, I remember with the custodian there. And maybe that's when I was told that Steve Sullivan and the custodian had checked things out.
Yep.
But it wasn't at the last meeting.
It was prior to that. Well,
No,
they just came on Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah, I think between the last meeting and this meeting.
I'm gonna see if Steve can make it.
Okay, so the next thing to talk about is the rainwater intrusion into the school from the courtyard. You know, Jeff and I went after one, I'm sorry, Jeff looked at it and suggested that we remove one of the 4x4s that essentially created a curb that would trap water if it got into the space between the window wall and where the curb is. So Russ Wilson and I went over there that day we had worked at the West Schoolhouse number 2 and took that top section off. So there's no more barrier. There was then another rain, maybe not as much rain, but certainly another heavy rain after that. And there was only the smallest amount of water that entered into the school, I think just a little bit in the hallway right opposite the window.
Tiny puddle.
Yeah, so then I think it was after that rain that we had our first meeting with Rick at the school, and we got up on the roof, and when we went over to the courtyard side to discuss the siding, I went down and found all 4 of the strainers totally clogged. So that I suspect in a heavy rain, the gutters fill up and spill over a lot. Although, you know, they're not totally blocked, so it gradually drains out, but it just couldn't drain. So the question is, do we set up some kind of maintenance on the strainers? Or the previous gutters, I don't think had strainers. Drains are not clogged. Do we need the strainers? So what's everybody think?
Do we know how big the pipe is? The underground pipe that is the drains?
I mean,
I
that
assume
they tie into,
Hmm?
that they all tie into ultimately?
Yeah, which I assume then goes to daylight.
Yeah,
Are we
I don't-
talking like 4-inch pipe or 6-inch pipe? Do we know?
don't know.
There was a,
think so. I've seen the pipe when we tied into it, when we did the gym roof, when we made all the drainage internal in the gym when they redid that roof, and then they had to tie it into the drainage that's right near the front door. And
Yeah.
I think the pipes were like between 4 and 6. There might have been a 4 going in and a 6 would be the main one that it went into.
But the drains in the courtyard, they don't tie into that same system, do they?
Huh?
That system, I remember, yeah, we had to tie those pipes, Becky, into manhole that was out in the parking lot.
Right. And it goes down to,
And then I thought it went to
Back-
daylight.
yeah, I think it daylights down near the playground.
Steve's here. Maybe he would know. Steve, you're muted.
Hi.
Hi.
hey,
Jeff just had a question. The drain that leads from the courtyard of the elementary school underground, do you know the diameter of that?
I do not, but
Okay.
I can certainly find out.
And then where does it daylight?
At the corner of the parking lot where it goes out into the wetland.
So then it does tie into the one I was talking about. Mhm.
Yeah, those are too big to not tie into that. There's nowhere, because there's nowhere else for it to daylight unless it was a 4-inch pipe somewhere, which would not work.
Oh, I thought those things would daylight to the west in that embankment that goes down to the play field.
Yeah,
That seems
that's where the whole system, the 6 catch basins in the parking lot all go there too.
right. Yeah. Okay. Well, the reason I was asking, if those are big pipes, then there's less chance if we take out the strainers that they would get clogged up with leaves
Mhm.
because the water could move through easily with the leaves.
Yeah, and what I found was pine needles and just general yuck. And there is a lot of granular rinse off from the new roof. I mean,
Mhm.
that needs to be physically cleaned out. So, Steve Sullivan, I don't know if you heard what I had said before, but when we had our first meeting with the painting contractor at school, he had some questions about the siding up on the where the walls rise above the roof. So we got up on the roof and we went over to the courtyard area to look at this one wall that rises up. And after that, I went down and looked into the gutters, and all 4 of the strainers were clogged. So I think in those heavy rains, the gutters can't drain fast enough, and a lot of the water is spilling over and possibly has a lot to do with why there was leakage into the school. So the discussion is, do we need to have those strainers there? Because if they're there, the pine needles are going to get in there all the time. I mean, you get a good blow and some pine needles come to washing down. So, if we take the strainers out, shouldn't be a problem as far as the gutters filling and
We take the strainers out, or will all that debris just end up clogged downstream somewhere that's harder to get to?
that's the question.
And then we're into the whole thing like are we gonna buy the big snake and blah blah blah?
Yeah.
Yep.
But I don't think that the previous gutters had strainers. So that's part of, if the previous gutters didn't have strainers,
No, because they were solid, they were filled solid from top to bottom, some of them.
If that was on the outside, on
I
the
don't know.
outside of the building.
the courtyard, and outside around the building, definitely. But do you
But
think
not
that
in the
courtyard
not in
decking-
the courtyard.
We
I don't-
have a new plan now. We're not relying on the custodian who's afraid of ladders. The highway department's gonna clean them every year.
clean what?
The
Strainer?
gutters in the courtyard and on the exterior too.
But they in the courtyard, I suspect they're going to need. Well, how does this sound? I had found a large inspection mirror, which I sent a screenshot of it to Becky. It cost $25. You can put it on a painter's pole, extension pole, and the custodian could go out and walk around and see if they need to be cleaned, and then get in touch with you. Would that work, Steve?
Oh, we're not gonna rely on the custodian at all.
No, I think it's give Steve the mirror. I think we got, well, I think I got better. I think Steve then could more quickly take a look and see if they're clogged. He wouldn't have to get a ladder out.
Well, with the mirror, yeah, I mean, okay. So
So
Mr.
back to
Sutton,
your strainer. I say
Feel
pull
that-
the strainers.
we'll get the mirror. And
Jeff, you said pull the strainers?
I'd pull the strainers.
Try it for a little bit to see if it doesn't cascade over anymore and see how the courtyard does in our next big rain.
After we pull the strainers, is that what you mean?
Yeah. So we
Okay.
pull the strainers, we'll see what happens with the next big rain if we get one.
If
So
we,
we've had, yeah.
if
Did
when,
we have any problem? We had bunch of big rains this last week. Did we have any issues?
No,
strainers,
Okay.
strainers are clean.
Okay.
I mean, I'm in favor of pulling the strainers.
Do we need all vote?
Why don't we, do I hear a motion to pull the strainers from the courtyard gutters at the school?
I'll make a motion. We pull the strainers on the courtyard gutters as an experiment.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Cook,
I
McGinn,
Aye.
Quackenbush,
All right.
Sullivan,
Aye.
Almas, aye.
So who's the we that's going to pull the strainers?
When he
Uh,
gets
look-
back from
are we
We're all
Nantucket.
looking
who's
at it?
that highway department again?
Or are we talking about vacation boy?
I can't do it until next week.
Okay.
No, Steve waved his hand first. I'll let it. Steve, do
I
you
can
want,
do it. I'm doing it tomorrow.
okay, do you want, would you like that, us to get that inspection mirror?
No, I don't think we'll need it.
Okay, but can you also clean out the rest of the gutters while you're there? Because I mean, I'm talking about in the courtyard, because there is a lot of general debris in there.
Yeah. We can
Okay, great.
definitely do that.
Well, while we're say still on the gutters at the school, I think there are strainers in the south gutter downspouts, which just dump on the ground. So I don't see any reason to have strainers in those.
Are we talking the south side of the outside of the building? Or
Correct.
what do you? Okay.
I'm sorry, the south side where we had, where we had the downspouts, gutters and downspouts put on.
So
On the roof.
the preschool and kindergarten area.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't see any reason to have strainers in those.
I agree.
Jeff?
Fine. Take them out. We don't have to vote on this, do we?
No. Okay. So then the question is, the remaining gutters, should we leave the strainers in for now?
Yes.
We can see if it becomes a problem.
Exactly.
So Steve, do you mind pulling the strainers out of the gutters at the south end of the building, the two new ones that downspouts just dump on the ground?
No, I'll be happy to do that. And
Great.
what I found when we were cleaning up those gardens on that side of the building, that on the southeast corner, there's actually a pipe there that I think I can tie that downspout into.
Okay.
Great.
You want to wait till the painter's done on that?
Oh yeah, because I'll be taking more material out of those beds there too, because I'm hoping that after I talk to Matt that we put stone in there and there's never a plant back in there again.
Just
Okay.
don't forget to tar it.
Tar paper?
No, wet tar.
Oh, what tar?
Becky's afraid of vandalism. She wants to tar all the rocks together.
Oh. Sounds good. Okay, so I think we beat that to death enough. So moving on, discussion regarding spreadsheets relating to work performed, history, and photos. So Becky, can you make Frank co-host? And Frank,
Yeah.
can you pull up spreadsheet that for town hall showing the heating system, please?
Yep. Where am I? You are now co-host. Hold on a second. Share. What section is that?
The heating system. There, just a little bit further. Well, that's interesting. Okay, yeah, I think so. If you look at history now, we were saying work done and photos was a column. So if you look at history, so what I was thinking is if I just move from comments, the particular relative comment into history, and then you see where I put corrected by Jamrog 823.
Yep.
Then we don't need to have work performed because that's the work performed. And then the photo, if there's a photo, that would be in there. But you see, I left for right now the work performed. So I think there was a redundant there would be a redundancy, which I don't. And then so I don't know if anybody has a thought on that.
We said the history won't print or anything. It's just for us going forward. So when we look at it, it's only in there now. But when we go ahead and do a print, it won't. Oh, the history's there now. But we'll we won't show that column. It can be a look and see, but it won't print.
Okay, but the column that currently says work performed and photos can just be photos.
Right.
Plus it seemed like you were having trouble figuring out a way where
Right.
comment could be added once a photo hyperlink is in there.
Right.
So that would eliminate that issue as well.
Yep. Okay. So photos, hyperlink in blue, and then history.
So you can see some of those will have to be altered, but
yep.
And there again, you can see about the insulation.
Yep.
So, and then the filter,
Exactly.
Okay. Does anybody have any comments about that?
That seems good.
Yep.
Okay. Well, we can move on to unanticipated items. I have a couple things.
Stephen, I need help finding a plumber.
For what?
Suggestions? Okay,
Oh,
so there's that faucet that the hose was connected to right outside the preschool kindergarten rooms.
Yeah, that
And-
hose bed, that email.
Yes, and I
Yeah.
was there today and saw it, and it's leaking right there. He can't even turn it off.
that should be able to be temporarily turned off inside the building somewhere. Should talk to the custodian tomorrow and see if he can turn that off internally.
I can email him.
The
now.
shut off's probably inside the wall somewhere where it's it's not gonna be accessible.
That's too bad.
Is that a
Without-
frost-free hose? That's not a frost-free, or is it a frost-free hose bib?
I would think those are frost-free.
Okay.
Oh, Becky, we don't have, we don't,
I'll check with Kevin when I'm there tomorrow with the downspouts.
so the town doesn't have a plumber who they normally call?
Oh, I used Whittier for 13 years and they're gone. And the new folks, I use a little bit, but they don't, I haven't, yeah, they've been transitioning. They don't even house in the New Salem location anymore. So they're basically out of Worcester.
Oh,
So
they're out
it's
of where?
what or where?
Oh, where? They're out of where?
Where? Hey, it's a
A little closer.
side of the Quabbin.
Yeah,
I was
Yeah,
walking
Pete-
around the lake the other day, and there was a plumbing truck I took a picture of. W.S. Pickering and Son Plumbing and Heating, Amherst, Mass.
Yeah, they're in like they're right on the Pelham line on Amherst or
Okay.
Pelham Road in Amherst. Yeah, they're great.
Okay.
Yeah, I would
Also-
say I would definitely use Pickering. DF Plumbing's out of Belchertown and Western Mass Heating Cooling. They're moving to South Deerfield, but they're really good as well.
So Western Mass Heating and Cooling is,
South Deerfield, and
and
then
they do plumbing too? I mean,
sorry,
Heating.
sorry, you could not say that again.
So they do plumbing, not just heating?
Mhm,
'Cause we used
yep.
them for heating. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, they do plumbing too.
And who was this, the middle company you said, Anna?
DF Plumbing, just the initials DF. They're out of Belchertown. They do plumbing and wet heat. They don't do any kind of duct work or mini splits, but they'll do like hot water base and then all plumbing aspects of plumbing.
Okay. They might be good for this.
Mm-hmm.
Great, thank you, guys.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
used to be,
all three are great. It's just whoever can fit it in. I just go with whoever can get there first, you know.
Pickering used to be known as really, really expensive.
Oh.
Not anymore, or just,
I just feel like everybody's known for being expensive now. I don't know.
Okay.
Has anybody like run into someone who said, "Oh, I have a really cheap plumber," you know, or builder or electrician, you know what I mean?
Hey.
yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of lost all meaning at this point for me.
Oh, thank you, Frank.
Okay.
When I was down at the fire department doing some more inspecting, and the mini split that serves the second floor apparently hasn't been functional since there was I guess a serious storm, and there was a surge, maybe lightning strike. I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly, but a lot of people
Surge.
lost equipment. So, and he was saying that maybe a HVAC tech said there should be a surge protector for the unit. And then that occurred to me that you can have a surge protector put on the entire electrical system at the panel box. So I then thought maybe that's something that we should look into, certainly for improvements that we do, as well as the other buildings that have electrical to
That sounds
prevent.
good. Bulking it in with it when we do the panels and everything
Yeah.
else. That'd be part of the group effort. Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, the next thing was an update on progress at the elementary school. Jeff, you want to speak to that?
Oh, where do we begin?
Well, maybe we should get Larry Moe and Curly here.
So, I stopped by this morning. They've got half of the plastic trim done on the south side of the building. So they're moving. However,
Uh-oh.
even though we had 2.5 hour discussion with them yesterday, They're still not attaching it 16 inches on center. They're still doing it in line with the studs. They claim that they got an okay from the manufacturer rep. So I said, I want to see it in writing. So get hold of your rep and have them send us a letter saying that this is an acceptable installation. Otherwise, you're coming back and putting fasteners at 16 inches on center. So they're gonna pursue that a little bit. So
And is this all, is this the plastic trim?
yeah, this is the plastic trim on the south side.
Is it ASIC brand or what brand is it?
Wolf.
It's called Wolf.
Wolf.
WOLFNOE. And so we got the manufacturer's installation literature, and it says fasteners 16 inches on center max. So the guys out there are saying, oh, the manufacturer's rep says no, you can, what you've got, which is more like 22 inches on center, is okay. It varies. The studs are not a consistent 24 inches on center. So so they're supposed to be working on getting us that letter. All the woodwork has been replaced. There are places where they did not prime the ends. So instead of having them rip it off again, which causes even more damage, we've asked them to try to get paint in with a manual paintbrush and get paint into the ends of the wood, and then double coat again with a paintbrush before they put their finish coat on at those areas where the joints are. So they're going to do that.
Bummer.
Yeah. We rejected the louver installation because they put in aluminum flashing and then they beat the piss out of it. So that it's all bent and terrible, looks like hell. So, and also the water runs back into the building because that slopes towards the building, not away from the building. So they've agreed that they're going to do that.
Can I interject?
Hmm?
Can I interject? That
Sure.
around the same louver, the first time I looked at it before they put the flashing in, which they had admitted, the trim had not been primed on the sides or the ends. So, I referred to it as a real shit show.
So they've got all the wood trims done, except for they missed the couple pieces on the west side, which they haven't gotten to yet. Again, today they're removing. They had a big crew there today. They had about 6 guys.
There were
So
4 when I was
they-
there.
Hmm?
There were only 4 there when I was there at 1.
Okay, when I was there earlier this morning, there were more.
Yeah.
So they could have been delivering material, a couple of them. They may be done with all the plastic wood today, or if they continue, probably sometime tomorrow. They are putting in the expansion areas on the ends of the plastic wood like we talked about. So other than the fastening, they seem to, I also prepared a diagram, a cheat sheet for them on how to fasten the wood, but they seem to be doing a fairly good job on the south elevation. I was surprised.
Oh, good.
So, we'll have to deal with, Rick did agree or did offer that if we're not satisfied with the spacing of the fasteners, he will come back and put fasteners in at 16 inches on center. So we'll have to see if he comes up with a letter or not, which I don't think he's going to be able to do. But then we'll have to see how.
Surprised they don't just do it. Just like make the conversation go away. Just put the you're there, you're mobilized, you got the material probably. Just get it
Well, we
done.
went through this whole friggin' discussion yesterday and we all left thinking, he even agreed that they were gonna put fasteners at 16 inches on center. And then we all walk away and he doesn't do it.
Mhm.
Well, I remember, when we were leaving, he had called first the supplier, who then got him the phone number for Wolf. And the individual he spoke to at Wolf, I think, was, I don't know if secretary is the right word, but someone who was merely reading what we could read ourselves, because I had printed out the install instructions. So then she gave him a number of someone else. And as I was leaving, I think he was beginning to talk to this individual. But we had this progress meeting, and I took notes and I sent, I wrote out the notes. And one of the items was that, if he finds that the spacing can be greater than 16 inches, that he has to provide a letter, from the manufacturer saying that that's okay.
And he's claiming this morning that he talked to that gentleman who he was referring to yesterday, and that gentleman okayed the spacing. So get us the friggin' letter or start putting in more fasteners.
Screws.
Yep. So
I
but
just
they're
get it.
progressing.
I would just put it in if I was in that position, even if I was like certain that I was right at 24, I would just make this problem go away by doing 16. It wouldn't be worth the argument.
Right.
Well, we're not,
Or the people are going to be looking for flaw. If I don't do it, then we're all going to be eagle-eyed looking for flaws going forward and be quick to jump on it if something comes up.
One of the
Yeah.
things that is interesting in the manufacturer's install instructions is it talks about getting penetration into the substrate of 1.5 inches. So unless you're on a stud, a framing member, you're only going through maybe 3/4 inch plywood at the most. So, they don't really address that in the install instructions, because they talk about either on a framing member or substrate. Substrate's not going to be 1.5 inches thick.
Oh.
So,
but we want something that the manufacturer is going to back up. So, it would be nice, Anna, if this guy would just start putting in fasteners, but
Yeah.
they don't seem to be the brightest bulbs on the tree, I guess, when we're dealing with them.
well, that one section of trim where the first bay that they were working on when we were there, Jeff, where they had the two pieces going into the corner and they didn't leave the expansion joint.
Yeah.
They hadn't put the vertical piece in where the doorway opening was, so that
Yeah.
they could cut and fit the piece that would go in between. I mean, some of it's like just didn't make sense, their progression.
Yeah.
But I'm glad it looks pretty good. It sounds like.
Yeah, I
So-
didn't stay very long, but it looked better than I expected, to be honest with you. So,
And then-
then we talked about
Hopefully
the
they're going to
schedule.
surprise you guys.
Huh?
In the end, they might surprise you. I hope.
That's positive thinking, I hope. Okay. So, and then we talked a little about they still believe that they can meet the schedule. If they're done with all the plastic this week, which I don't think they will be, but if they are, because they still got to do caulking and all that other good stuff. He thinks he can do power washing and painting and be done by the time we need. So
Now, have they done any of the fascia on the south side?
no,
No, just all the trim around the bays and
Yeah.
all that.
right. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay, and just
I won't be able to stop by there tomorrow. I may be able to stop by on Friday.
So the progress notes that I took, I typed up and then I sent those to Jeff, to Becky, and to Rick. So he's got, all this, and I said, if there's anything that you don't agree with or want to add a comment, please do. And I haven't heard from anybody. Jeff looked them over, said he thought they looked okay. So
Right.
Rick knows, if he's read it, that he's supposed to provide a letter.
Yep.
And we have a meeting scheduled for this coming Tuesday at 4, because I'm driving back in the morning. Oh, and
The other thing is just let the rest of the committee, the school principal and other members of the school committee were fine with the colors, or school occupants were fine with the colors.
You did a good job picking them out.
So
And you could tell them how the green is not as reflective, but we are gonna go with it.
yeah. So the manufacturer says that the light reflectance value for painting their PVC, they wanted a value of 55, where the color we selected is only 35. But we're not going to change the color. We don't have huge volumes of this paint on plastic, and we think we're okay with all the fasting that's taken place.
How does the color are we darker than what they want or lighter? How do those values work?
We're lighter.
We're lighter. You'd think that would be better, right? That the darker
you would
would
think.
move.
You would think so.
Yeah. Okay. Or it'd be safer, maybe. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I also got to believe that when they say they picked 55 and higher, they got to realize that they're selling this stuff in Arizona and they're selling this stuff in
Right.
Florida.
Sure.
We're sitting here at the top of the mountain in Massachusetts.
I've seen some of that just look like a total roller coaster from it being painted too dark.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Another reason that I think it ought to be nailed or fastened every 16 inches.
And when you guys were measuring all the distances between the fastening, you were getting like all kinds of erratic numbers, like
right, yeah, I
2
mean, I
and 17 and 11, and it was
I don't-
crazy.
11, 18, 17, 21, 22. I don't know if I got 24.
Well, who said that the actual framing is not done on any standard on-center spacing? Is the framing all erratic and they're actually following the studs?
The framing is
Well-
all erratic.
Okay.
Well, they're following the nailing pattern of the siding, which is,
Oh,
there's
okay.
a vertical line showing the nailing pattern,
Yeah.
and that's the spacing. I mean, who knows? Maybe the nailing pattern of the siding is all wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, because the siding nails aren't going in that deep,
Yeah.
So maybe they're actually just following the nailing pattern of the siding, which isn't.
And
I mean,
if the nailing if the studs are erratic and whoever installed the siding followed that, like it could just be everybody's just following the guy that came before him.
right.
Yep. Could
But
be.
you would think the siding. Well, let's see. I guess once you put a house wrap on, you can't see the nailing pattern for the sheathing unless you've marked it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, couldn't they have a stud finder?
Not that they're going to go through
They're not do that.
That many
all
levels?
that construction. No, we just have to assume that the nailing pattern is based on somebody at one time in the past hitting the friggin' studs.
I know.
But we're praying
What
for.
are we gonna, I mean, I guess it's like, we're not reframing the building, we're not, it's like, what are we doing moving forward?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Both Steve and I have to go to an emergency management meeting that
Great.
starts at 6:30.
Well, we're almost done.
But you guys can keep talking. I don't need to take away the Zoom this time.
Sounds good. What was I gonna say? Oh, and I sent to Becky and Jeff the photo, and I think to Rick, of the hose bib at the corner below the kitchen louver that is flashed properly. That's another part of the problem with that one on the south side. It's leaking and it's not flashed properly, so the water gets back behind.
Yeah, so he didn't put the yeah, he already told you.
PVC.
He only put the plywood in that section. Hopefully we'll get it turned off tomorrow and get a plumber in there.
Okay, so you'll let him know that we're working on that, Becky?
Oh, I did. Yeah, I
Okay.
talked to him
So
today.
he's leave that till that's resolved.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Steve, you're gonna go down and talk to Kevin in the morning. Are you gonna ask him to turn off the water, or should I go down and do
No,
that?
I'll do that.
Okay, then I won't go down then. All right, but we did get the 2 cameras taken down. We went around the building, and I think there's about 4 others that if we just, bag it with, and tape it, they should be fine.
Yeah, the only one that I remember that really we wanted down was on the south side because it was attached to the fascia. Where they're attached to the building, they can paint around those. It was only so that we could put the new PVC on the fascia behind it.
Right, the one that also we decided to take down was in the front corner near the louver. It'll be a cleaner paint job. It has 2 huge metal brackets and then all this
Right.
stuff coming out of it. So with it down, at least it'll be easier to paint. And I was uncertain, I didn't think so, but that corner board, I know Jeff had pointed at it, but I didn't remember if that one needed replacing or not near the louver. But I don't think so. Jeff, do you remember?
no,
That wasn't on
It's
it.
not,
No.
so we're good. So it's just so that they can paint easy without as much trouble on that one.
oh, I think all the wood that needs to be replaced in the soft or fascia has been done.
Okay,
In fact, I think we did more than we needed to do.
Right.
an extra 100 feet?
No,
Yeah.
Jeff and I measured it, and we were being a little bit generous, and the total is 104 by our generous measurements, and they're obligated to do 100 within the contract. Am I right, Jeff?
Correct.
Got that done. Okay, well, I gotta run. I'm gonna
Okay.
just leave this here if you guys want to keep talking.
See you, Steve.
Hi, Steve. Hi, Becky.
Bye, thank you.
I'm perfectly fine if someone would like to make a motion to end the meeting, and
Yep. I'll make a
You'll-
motion. We end the meeting.
fire
I'll
second.
second it.
Cook,
Aye.
McGinn,
Aye.
Quackenbush,
All right.
Yalmas, aye. Thank you, everyone.
Happy
Yeah,
Enjoy your
drink.
trip.
Thank you.
Bye.
Aye.
Guess
Bye,
I'm
Becky.
slow. Good
Yeah, you-
night.
Good
Okay.
night.